Greetings everyone and welcome back into the channel. Now, first things first, it's been one hell of a long time before we've done a manager tactical recreation. I do apologise, work is that busy at the moment for me. I really didn't have any time apart from just recording the Let's Play, which hopefully you're all enjoying. But now, our attention, it's going to turn to Tottenham Hotspur. I say this with conviction, it's been a very turbulent time at Tottenham Hotspur. Not only did they win the Europa League, Ange thought he was staying, the fans pretty much thought he was staying, but his luck and his time run out at Tottenham Hotspur, which meant there was a vacancy available, and for the main man for Brentford, up steps Thomas Frank. Since the arrival of Thomas Frank, they've been very busy in the transfer window, getting the signing of Matthias Tel in on a permanent deal for 35, confirming in Kevin Danso for 25, another centre-back, a young centre-back in Luka Vuskovic, and also the talented Kota Taikai coming in from Kawasaki front. But look at some of the outgoings on there, bit of Deadwood gone, Højbjerg's out, Alpha Divine's gone, Solomon's gone, and as we look down the list now, there was a few people that were released, Forster, Whitman, Reguilon. That's definitely going to open up a little bit more money in wages, and also sending Timo Werner, who was pretty much useless. He's gone back to RB Leipzig. So Thomas Frank's time at Brentford was very up and down, in my opinion. Don't start shouting at me, Brentford fans, but they really was pushing towards Europe. Then they tend to drop off a little bit. They were back towards European places, dropped off again. But I think he's definitely earned the right and earned this move to a bigger club in Tottenham Hotspur. And we will see the very best out of Thomas Frank next season, especially when they're playing in the Champions League. So out of the 317 matches he was in charge of for Brentford, he had a points per match of 1.51, which I think is it's rather impressive. Across the course of the season, Thomas Frank did more often than not use a 4-2-3-1. Now, we are going to use this Manchester United match here as a bit of a baseline to what they're doing. On this game, for instance, now, passes, they're not tick-a-tacker. They're not going to pass it short. They like to be direct. They like to play the ball into space and get the ball forward as quick as possible, and then pressing up the field, trying to force errors and create their own opportunities at the other end of the field. But if we look now at the 4-2-3-1, we're going to start off with the wing-backs. Keane Lewis-Potter on the left-hand side and Michael Kayode on the right. Both very effective and very efficient going forward. I think Michael Kayode has a bit more of a licence to thrill down that wide area, getting forward a little bit more than Keane Lewis-Potter, who tends to be maybe a little bit more conservative. They've got some really good link-up play in the wide areas. I think Thomas Frank will implement the same thing at Tottenham Hotspur, because even here, you've got an assist there for Michael Kayode down that right-hand side. But then as they get forward, they're linking up with Buemo, Sade, bags and bags of pace. But they're very similar players. They're going to have Matthias Tel potentially on the left. You've got Maddison centrally. On the right, you could have Kulusevski, Brennan Johnson, Solanke up front. They've got plenty of options there. Really good players. And I think Thomas Frank will definitely get the best out of what he's got there. Let's have a look at the centre-backs now. In Van der Berg and Collins. Now, both of these, when they are in possession, they will look to step up the field, try and force the opposition back. You can see how high that line is there straight away. Plenty of clearances for Collins, a bit more of a conservative defender. If in danger, get rid of it. The two centre midfielders that Frank was deploying at Brentford were absolutely crucial in what they were doing. They would sit in and they would break up as much as physically possible. Now, neither of these two really got too far forward. They didn't need to. With the wing backs going forward, with the wingers cutting inside, a little bit more direct in the play, they're really cutting them out and just leaving them in there to try and turn possession over. But they aren't scared to go forward if the opportunity arises. I think we're looking at two defensive midfielders in there, and potentially one on the right-hand side getting a little bit more further forward, maybe offering an extra option up front. For me, where the magic happens and where it's going to happen again for Tottenham, because I think they're going to be very good under Thomas Frank, is the board areas. Now, yes, we've just briefly talked about the kind of quality in the board areas. They've got youth, they've got experience, they've got quality. And whether, like I said, whether you've got Son on the left, whether you've got Tau, whether you've got Solanke out wide, they've got options now. Plenty of players that are very versatile. But looking at Mbeumo, both the wingers, they both will sit very, very wide and now look to cut in with the ball, especially Mbeumo does like to drive into the box and did like to cause a lot of problems. In the number 9 and number 10 position, Frank was rocking out with Visser up top. Really, really good, pressing forward very quick, and it did cause plenty of problems for the opposition. But you can see how much ground both of these players covered. Visser is a striker. He's all over the field, and we're going to see that as a complete forward. And Mikael Damsgaard as well. Yes, he's going to play in that cam role, but he's not going to be shy to drift deeper, drift out wide left, drift out wide right, and potentially even get into the striker's position if Johan Visser decides to track back. I think we can definitely expect a different approach. Tottenham have had all sorts of managers at their club. They've had Conte, very, very defensively sound, didn't really want to play much football. And then you go to the other end of the scale with Pochettino, Ange Postecoglou, gung-ho football. And they haven't really found the middle. With Thomas Frank being in charge, I think this is going to be the guy that is going to find the balance at Tottenham Hotspur. He's not too attacking. He's not too defensive. I think he's going to be just right for the job. But I think we're going to expect us to play a bit more direct. We want to be defensively comfortable. We want to try and make the most of the ball in the wide areas. And with a high press, cause as many turnovers as physically possible. I think with that being said, let's jump over now to FM24. Let's have a look exactly how we're setting this Tottenham team up. And bear in mind, this is my opinion. You guys out there, it might vary dramatically. But I really think that if he plays this setup, carries on as he did for Brentford, we're going to see a whole different animal. So welcome into this beautiful, beautiful Thomas Frank tactic here at Tottenham Hotspur. And straight away, I will tell you, we have got the updated players in here. We have got Vuskovic. We have got Danzo on a permanent. You can see Towels on a permanent as well. And there's Kota Takai. It also sounds like the karate tournament of Cobra Kai. The Sakai Kaitai or something. That's his new name now. Cobra Kai.
The Sakai Takai.
That's the setup there. The Thomas Frank setup that I believe they're going to come into the season with. They're starting off, I think, will be the actual style. So, mentality is going to be positive. I think we will see a little bit of an upstep in the intensity. Now he's got better players at his disposal here at Tottenham Hotspur. But in possession, they are going to be playing the attacking width fairly wide. They're going to pass it into space, always the way at Brentford. You'll see a lot more direct balls over the top into the channels for them people like Mbeumo, Sharda to run onto. So very, very important piece of the jigsaw for Tottenham to start playing that way. We are going to focus the majority of our play down the wide areas with the fullbacks then looking to bomb on, get forward, support the attackers and create some opportunities. And with that being said, passing directness is slightly more direct. Higher tempo, well, slightly higher tempo even, but when it comes to defensive stuff and the attacking stuff, we want to be a lot more disciplined in what we are trying to do here at Tottenham Hotspur. In the transition, we're going to regroup when possession has been lost, look to get men back behind the ball, defend well, get the ball back under our spell, and then get it down the other end of the field as quickly as possible. Try and catch them on the counter. That's exactly why when possession has been won, we're going to hit a counter attack, fast, sharp, effective, as much speed as physically possible. When the goalkeeper is in possession of the ball, he's going to look to distribute the ball quickly across anywhere across the back four, which I think is going hand in hand. But we'll have a look at that's going to work with the players when we go on to their individual instructions shortly. On the out of possession, we are going to have a high line from the attackers and the defensive line just sitting between the 18-yard box and the halfway line. We're going to trigger the press much more often, look to engage as many times as possible, pressure on the ball, look to force turnovers. When it comes to the pressing trap, we are going to trap inside because our wing backs are going to be going forward a hell of a lot, linking up with our wingers, so we can trap them inside where our two defensive midfielders are going to be sitting and our two centre-halves there ready to cover as well. On the cross engagement, we're going to look to stop all crosses if we can. Now, Tottenham have got some big defenders, Mickey van der Ven, Romero, they've got Danzo, they've got some draggers in as well, some really, really good heads of the ball. So if the balls do make their way into the box, we will be able to defend them accordingly. On the individual player roles, Vicario is going to be a sweeper keeper. Defend, nothing fancy on him, just bog standard sweeper keeper, looking to distribute the ball across anywhere of the back four. Now on the wing back left, we're going to look at Destiny Udogie first of all. Both him and the right hand side when the ball is released to them from the goalkeeper, distribute it to them. I want them to carry the ball forward up towards the halfway line if they can before then releasing it. So Udogie has got dribble more on and stay border, looking towards that touchline, hogging the touchline as much as physically possible and making the pitch as wide as we can. And the same goes for Porro on the right hand side. Same instructions, but he is going to be a wing back attack. And you know exactly what you get from Porro. He's absolutely phenomenal going forward. He's better going forward than he is defending. So let's just see what he can do for Thomas Frank under his tenure. In the centre-half positions, we've got Mickey van der Ven on the left-hand side, ball-playing defend, and Romero as a central defender, but looking to stay a little bit wider, as you'd expect with Porro bombing on forward. The two centre midfielders, Bentancur and Basuma. Of course, we have options in there. Pape Matas, I can't even pronounce that. Sarr is his new, that's not his new name, that is his name, but Sarr. We've got back up there. They've got some real quality in their ranks to be able to fill this gap. But Bentancur and Basuma are going to be starting, both on defensive midfielder support. We've got Basuma as marked tighter, anyone in this part of the field, and Bentancur, we've got him dribbling less. We wanted to put the ball forward, release it to his teammates that are really going to make a massive difference with the ball at their feet. But on the left-hand side now, it takes us to Matthias Tell. We've got him as an inside forward attack, sitting slightly narrower, because then as our wing backs do go forward, they're going to come inside, offering a little bit more space then to work their magic in from the wide areas. You know what I mean? Tell's going to be cutting inside, and you've got then Udogie looking to bomb on, overlap, maybe get some dangerous crosses into the box. But Tell, inside forward, attack. Only thing added to it is sit narrower. On the right hand side, it's Dejan Kulusevski. And we've got sit narrow as well. Once again, we're going to reiterate it with Porro bombing on forward. He's going to drag that fullback inside the middle of the pitch, give us a lot more space then for Porro to work with. And we know he can deliver an absolutely superb ball into the box. In the cam role, there's only one man for that job, and it's James Maddison. We wanted to fill that Norgard role, do everything, bit of attacking, bit of defending, getting back out for his team, but ultimately dropping in between the lines and linking up play. So we have got him moving into channels, roam from position, and take more risks on the ball for an attacking midfielder support role. Now, the spear, if you will, not the pinnacle, is Dominic Solanke up front. I was toying with having a pressing forward, and I think a complete forward is much more suited the Thomas Frank way. We wanted to hold the ball up. We wanted to get shots on goal. We wanted to get assists. We wanted to score goals. We want an all-round game. Hence the name of the position, complete forward. He's going to have to do the lot, and I think we're going to get this out of Solanke with Thomas Frank giving him some strict instructions of what he expects. But look at that first team and the actual bench and the actual quality in the squad. Let's build no illusions. Thomas Frank's got a very, very talented bunch of players to work with. And like I said earlier on, we're going to see a much different animal this year in Tottenham Hotspur. So we've seen the team, we've seen the tactics, we've seen each individual player roles. There's only one more thing to do now, and that means it's simulation time. I will see you at the end of the season. So we're back at the end of the season, and if this is anything to go by, an absolute gleaming success if Thomas Frank can get it right here at Spurs. In the Premier League, finishing third, 10 points behind Liverpool and Arsenal in the title race. On the Europa League, managing to go the whole way, repeating what they've done in real life with a 3-2 victory against Porto. In the Premier League, I think if they can finish as high as third, absolute dream stuff there for Tottenham and for Thomas Frank. Dominic Solanke getting 29 goals, finishing second, just behind Isak. Third highest average rating in the league. Pedro Porro from that right hand side, as we expected, 14 assists, and Vicario joint first for clean sheets for the entire season. On the possession side of things, just as you would have expected, this Thomas Frank setup, joining Thomas Frank there at Brentford, 11th for Tottenham, 13th for Brentford, and it's just probably what we would have expected, just under the lion's share of possession, but you can't really moan. Absolutely superb, averaging just over 2 points per game, which is absolutely phenomenal. Are we leading any stats on here? So first of all, goals, we're only 10 behind Liverpool, so we was absolutely potent. Goals per game, 2.37, but if we look at this now, crosses completed, we are clear there. 250 crosses completed. We wanted to get the ball out wide, really get our wing backs getting forward, the wingers getting involved, and they've duly delivered. And the same there goes from corners. We were very, very good from a dead ball situation. Shots for leading the way, out shooting Liverpool, Villa, Newcastle, wow, everybody in the entire league, and we're having the most shots per game in 18.24. So we've got a real good fluid thing about us when we're going forward. And what do we say? We wanted to see relentless pressing, non-stop running, and that's what Thomas Frank got from his Brentford team, and he's got exactly the same from the Tottenham team. High intensity sprints, we are absolutely clear, everybody. On the defensive side of things, we have won the possession the most time. We did want to force errors. Looks like we're doing really well there. Joint third there, we can see 35 and 38 across the course of the season. So overall, an absolutely superb, very successful first season for Frank here at Spurs. If we look at the goal side of things now for all the players across the campaign, Solanke 43 and 49, Kulusevski 16 goals, Tao getting 15, Maddison getting involved as well, Brennan Johnson picking up 10. On the assists, Pedro Porro, by far the most reliable source of assists for us, 22, which is absolutely phenomenal. Kulusevski, that right hand side is a stuff of dreams by the look of it, and the left hand side not really doing too bad either. You've got Son there that would have occasionally been on the left hand side with 15 assists, and Destiny, your doggy, with 10. So you can see there that has been a massive amount of assists. We wanted to play wide, we wanted to stretch the play, and by God have we done that with this setup. This formation is an absolute dream. Across the season, Frank has been living in dreamland. Bit of a rough patch there in March and April, but there was some tough games. I reckon fatigue had definitely set in, but there's some really big wins in there, some shock wins as well. Beating Crystal Palace 4-1, it's a good result against a good team. Beating, who else did we beat there? It's pretty good. Man City, massively important, going to the Etihad, a late own goal there, Nico Gonzalez. Absolutely smashed Liverpool to bits, 5-1. They must not have turned up at all on the day. But overall, a really positive season. Really well played by the team. And I think if this tactic's anything to go by, if Frank can get this team going, get them motivated, get them firing, we could see the very best of Tottenham Hotspur once again. So if that season is anything to go by, other clubs, other teams, other fans, be wary of Tottenham Hotspur. Frank is going to get these firing on all cylinders. He's going to get every single little drop out of these players. Make sure they're giving 110% week in, week out. And I would think, without doubt, I'm going to say it with conviction, Tottenham Hotspur this season will be a different animal altogether.